Hello, my name is Levan, and today I will be presenting you injera, along with its history, nutritional facts, and everything you need to know about injera. Have you ever been to Ethiopia, or an Ethiopian restaurant, of course? You've probably heard of a dish called injera. It's a sourdough flatbread, unlike any other sourdough. It starts out looking like, a crepe, then it develops into a very spongy-like texture, as you can see right here. It's very spongy, it's, very soft texture. Yeah. And it's also used as like an eating utensil. So you're not actually just eating it by itself, you're also eating it with some sort of sauce. You're also eating it with some sort of vegetable. It's all put out onto injera. But today I'm going to be showing you something called misir, and essentially it's like lentils, but just like with a whole bunch more flavor and a lot more, just love put into it, if you will. So there are a lot of ingredients that are made to use injera. But one thing in particular that makes injera, what it is teff flour. And teff flour is, one of the most smallest grains in the world, and also one of the most highly domesticated grains in the world. Also, having them come from Ethiopia and Eritrea, where injera and overall teff in general are just consumed the most, between 400 and 1000 BC. Injera's production is limited to only those places with adequate rainfall, which makes it relatively expensive for those households who are African households. These African households can be like Ethiopian or Eritrean or your Somalian, households, because those are the places that consume injera the most. And lots of people would end up just replacing teff injera entirely, making it with wheat or barley or some sort of flour or anything in general that would help it thicken it up. Essentially, injera kind of made teff flour more in demand and more expensive. Yeah. So there is a lot of confusion based off of like what you eat injera with or how you eat injera just in general. So there are a lot of different ways you can eat injera. You can just eat it by itself if you really felt like it, but a lot of people preferably like to eat it with lots of different types of Ethiopian stews like durowad, misirwad, just a whole lot of different stews. There's a lot of variety you can choose, but essentially there's a whole bunch of stews that you can mix this with, just to put on different sides of the plate. So it's like injera is pretty much like an eating utensil, if you will. It's like an eating utensil that you use to eat. So it's pretty much like how people eat stuff with tortilla. They can get a piece of the tortilla. So like we get a piece of this, right? And they get like meat or whatever they want to get. So it's pretty much like that. You just get whatever you like. You get a piece of injera, and you eat it like that. You get everything you need. You get everything from each pile. Like for example, this could be durowad, this can be misirwad, this can be vegetables, this can be sigawad, which is just like meat, meat stew, essentially. So you just get each of each part, eat it. So yeah. So there's a variety of different types of teff you can use to make injera, but this is my pre-made injera that I've made these past couple of days that I sadly forgot to record, but I can show it to you now. There's more over here, but yeah, so we had to get like obviously teff, but we had to get like a specific type of teff, and the teff we used was brown teff, which is the most healthiest type of teff you can possibly get, because it doesn't have any artificial flavorings or artificial colors. It's just like the organic teff as it is, and it's pretty much like low calorie. It's very low calorie. It's better than eating things like tortilla, which are very heavy in fats, which can eventually lead to chronic diseases, and we don't want that. So this is definitely the best type of injera or teff flour you can get, which it's called brown teff. Brown teff. You can get this from any Ethiopian store or Indian store. You can possibly pick this up. Definitely add it to your diet. Make some it can be anything. It can't just be injera. It can be things like your own tortilla. It's just low calories. More low calories, better for your health. A tip that I have for you, the viewer, is to buy teff grain by itself and ground it up, rather than just buying the injera ready made. And it's not going to be the same experience, because grounding up the teff yourself and actually doing it like by yourself, just like DIY pretty much, is a lot healthier, and it makes the injera tastes a lot fresher, and it's also better for you because the oils haven't like oxidized yet, meaning like they're just more fresh. So if you're looking to make injera with teff, I consider you should heavily consider grounding it up by yourself. Today I will be making misir, which is what I previously talked about, which is pretty much just lentils with a whole lot of stuff in it, that I'm gonna get to. But first I'm gonna tell you what I put into this injera, just because I forgot to record it. That's completely on me. But yeah, so to make this type of injera, you're gonna want to have you're obviously gonna get teff grain by itself. You're gonna want to get a lot of it, and ground it up by yourself. You want to get you want to beat it, pretty much just beat it up pretty much, and you'd want to beat it up, get teff all by itself, put it into a bowl, and also what you will want to have is 2 cups of that. So you want to have 2 cups of the teff flour, by itself, just sitting there by itself, alright? And then you want to have 3 cups of water of your choice. Personally, me, I like to use distilled water or alkaline water, but you can use things like distilled water, really. It's really up to you when it comes to the water. Also, you can use yeast if you really want it to be puffy. Yeah, you could also use that. And then here's the thing though, you need to leave it by itself. You want to wrap it up with the teff flour and water. You want to put it wrapped up for 5 days. Now it gives it time to really marinate and get everything together, just so that it can be nice and ready for you to actually eat. So this adds up. If it doesn't work out the first time and it becomes molded, then you would discard it, because if you make it for the first time or any other time and you've never made it before, it may end up molding. So you have to really just discard it if it ends up molding. So after the 5 days is up and all your teff flour is all battered up and ready, or at least has some texture to it, what you want to do is you want to get a pan. And once you get the pan, you want to put 1 cup of water in there and let it boil. And after you let the water boil for just a little bit, you want to put a half cup of the fermented teff flour, which is going to end up being your injera. Do that until the mixture is fully thickened. And once the fully thickened batter is ready, you want to put it back into its original mixture, which you poured the thickened batter from. And then you want to add a 2/3 cup of water after that into the cup where you put the original mixture and the thickened teff, and you want to mix it together until it's fully mixed. Put it onto a pan. Me personally, I use this very wide and very large pan that I use, that is specifically used to make injera, but anyone can just use a regular pan. And what you want to do is you want to put the layer of injera, or the layer of teff mixture onto the pan, into a very thin amount, so just a little bit, and then you should be good. You want to leave it on the pan, and if you see bubbles, just leave it. It's supposed to be like that. That's what creates the spongy texture in the finished product. Whenever you're doing this, you want to be very careful, because if you cook the injera for too long, it can become very gummy and just all around terrible. And after you're done with that, you should end up having something that's just exactly like this. Well, not exactly, depending on what kind of pan you use, and the thickness will obviously be different if you use a very different pan or any kind of cooking surface. But essentially, it should end up looking like this, a very spongy, very, you know, very soft texture in the finished product. If you have leftovers, just feel free to just keep putting it on the pan, repeating the process over and over and over again until you have a sufficient amount that you would like. Okay, so now that I've shown you how to actually make the injera itself, I'm going to now show you how to make some sort of stew. And it's something that I've mentioned earlier on in the video, and it's actually called misir. And misir is essentially just lentils. Like I've stated earlier on in the video, it's just lentils with a lot more flavor, and it's very enjoyable. I'll actually be eating exclusively lentils today, as that one is that one has the most flavor in it, and all the other ones take like a couple of hours to do. So that one, like it's like this one is the least time consuming to make for any person. Before we start, I want to give you a little bit of a background research on injera. So the strongest bits of injera's cooking dates all the way back to 600 AD, and this dates back all the way when Eritrea was still in Ethiopia and when Djibouti was still in Somalia. This is way back, right? And in Ethiopia, injera actually originated in this country, or not in this country, in the city called Asun, which is in Ethiopia, northern part of Ethiopia, right under Eritrea. And then in 1400 AD, injera was then started to be used as a form of affection and love for one another by, it's like this cultural thing where what Ethiopians do is they get a piece of food, piece of injera, they mix it with whatever stew is available, and they feed it to one another. And this symbolizes love and affection for one another in a big portion. Since then, injera has been a huge component of food in Eritrea and Ethiopia. All in all, injera plays a central role in Ethiopia's cuisine factor and its stable country's diet. With injera, it makes it easier for Ethiopians to stay fit and healthy, as injera has a lot of nutritional value that comes with it, and less in calories, so that you don't gain weight or have to burn off more, or do sweat more, just a whole lot of things. Injera is just made from fermented teff flour, which gives it a distinctive sour taste, and just a really soft texture. It's used as a serving vessel and an accomplishment to the various different stews they can use, like sega wood, misir wood, doro wood, all types of different stews, and just a whole bunch of different things you can eat it with, like vegetables and potato, just a whole bunch of things that you can eat it with, and I'm about to show you. And so the sponginess inside of injera allows it to actually absorb all the different flavors, which makes it very popular in not only Africa, East Africa specifically, but in different parts of the world. More and more Ethiopian restaurants and just overall Eastern African restaurants involving injera are more normal to see now. Just its cultural significance extends beyond its just role as a food. It's more so as just a food that you would eat like a family gathering or communal meals that you'd use in celebrations, just symbolizing unity and just overall togetherness, if you will. Okay, I will show you how to make misir wat. To make misir wat, this is what you will need. You'll need 2 onions. This one's already cut. This one's right here. You'll need 1 garlic. You'll need olive oil. You'll need cayenne pepper. You'll need black pepper. You'll need salt, and you'll need red lentils. properly make this type of stew, you will need this amount of onion to make 16 ounces worth of lentils. So as you can see here, we're going to use this entire thing. This is about 1 pound of it, and we're about to mix this with the amount of onions. This amount of onions and this amount of lentils makes it perfect for flavor and everything. So you want to put the onions into a pot, just like this. And while it's in there, you want to also add oil to it. So then you want to add half a cup of oil, preferably I like to use olive oil because it's the best for you. It adds the best to your nutritional values, along with the taste. It also tastes better. So you want to add half a cup here, and then you want to mix it. You want to cut. I got 1 garlic from before. You want to cut it all into small pieces, very small pieces, like these right there. 2 tomatoes. You have 1 tablespoon of pink salt, or any salt for that matter. I mean, I like to use pink salt because it has over 70 minerals and is better for overall health than other types of salts, which can cause different types of heart diseases or any types of other diseases in a short amount of time. You add the garlic. Once you add the garlic, you want to mix it like so, like this. Now you want to get your misir, also known as lentils, and put it all in the pan that you're going to use. It's a lot of lentils. And then you want to rinse it with water. I'm cleaning it because it gets rid of a lot of the dust and dirt that comes with it. Depending on where you get it from, a lot of it can form. So that you're always going to be safe when you wash it. So yeah, what you want to do next is you want to add cayenne pepper, also known as berbere. It's an Ethiopian spice, but it's just cayenne pepper pretty much. You want to add 4 tablespoons of this. Which is just 2 spoons of this. Now you want to add tomato onto it. The tomato adds extra flavor and adds more nutrition to it. You always want more nutrition. So yeah, there you go. And you can also add on the actual main thing, which is the misir, also known as lentils. So these are the washed lentils. You're adding it onto the already made stew that we were cooking. Yeah, just adding it in there. So it's in there. You want to mix it and let it cook together. As you're cooking it, you can see that the lentils have absorbed all the water and everything that was already put in there. So you're gonna have to add some extra water to it. So you're gonna need about 1 cup of water, and just add it in there, just so it could be a little moist and not dry. As you are pretty much done adding all the ingredients, just keep mixing them together, just so the product can be even better and more equally flavored. The fact about misir is that it's very protein packed and low calorie. So this is a very good meal if you're on a diet and you want to have something tasty to eat. After 20 minutes of stirring, it's finally starting to come together a little bit. It's starting to bubble. Yeah, it's just, you see, it's coming together. Get my injera ready. You've got to get your injera ready on your plate just like this, and you're going to be using it as an eating utensil. Meaning you would get, I'm going to just demonstrate it whenever I put it on. Now, after about, I want to say 25 minutes of it cooking, it's finally ready and ready to eat. So what you want to do is you want to get a spoon or anything to put your misir onto the injera. It can be good if you're a vegetarian and you want to have a good source of protein that is natural, as lentils are a good source of packed protein without having anything that's actually like a meat or anything like that. This is packed with high nutrition, with all the different types, with the oil and the tomato garlic, the onion, and even the lentils, and also finally the injera, used with their flour, which is low in calories and has lots of iron. So yeah, this is how it is. Usually you would have different types of sauces and stews on, your plate of injera, but for time's sake I only used one, and that was misir with. And it's actually better by itself, or still good by itself. It's not better, but it's good by itself always. But it's just an easy way to get some, good nutrition in without, doing all that extra stuff. And it doesn't really take that long to do. So yeah, so here what I'm going to do is I'm about to show you how to actually eat it. So you're going to get a small piece of the injera. You're going to cut a little bit, and then you're going to go on the sides, and then you're going to get some, and then you're going to eat. It's good. I think that people do as a way of love, and a way of just, a way to express your love to other people, is you get a piece of the injera as you would like right here, and then you just feed it. It just shows like you're just expressing your love that way, and it's very respectful to do in the Ethiopian culture. So like if someone were to just offer it to you, then you have to take it no matter what. It's called gursha. The Ethiopian gursha has actually been a thing like even before the arrival of injera back in 600 AD. Even before that, that when they just used to eat like grains and beans and just regular stuff. It used to be like a way of affection and showing love to one another, and it really like became popular in Ethiopia whenever the arrival of injera. Ever since the get-go, there has been lots of people showing love to one another by sharing injera. So, yeah, I think this concludes this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and a little bit of the background of injera and what it really is. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get to eating. Thank you for tuning in.